kabe tujha.
You got it on the screen?
This one.
Gauranga Purite Habe Pulakashari Hare Hare Polite Nai Yane Habe Gauranga Purite Habe Prabhupada ki jai, Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Pratik Pavan Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Nitai Sachisuta ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai, Shri Radha Parisisvara ki jai, Shri Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Marathon ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, O Premanandi, all glorious to be assembled, all glories to Shri Guru Gauranga, glories to Shri Prabhupada, Om to Hare Krishna Vastavitali, Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamane, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vacharine, Nivasesha Sanivari Krishna Jai Jai Jai. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda,
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda,
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda,
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda,
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda,
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda,
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda,
Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody this morning to the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading, and I don't have a book here. Maybe somebody can give me a book. Not any book, the book which is relevant to today's reading. Jiva Pram will bring me the Bible if I'm not careful. I saw him with a Mormon's Bible this morning, ardently studying it. I think he thought he was giving class, but we'll talk tomorrow for it. Oh, there's a nice warm book. You read this?
Yeah.
44 to 48.
48?
44 to 48.
Huh?
We start.
44 to 48.
It should continue on Haridas Thakur.
I think I finished that, didn't I?
No, it was 2 parts.
Huh? No, but I think I read the whole thing. Yes, I did. I read all those verses. We're on 47, 48, 47. We touched 47 and we're going to 48, 49. Let's see. So which one we can put on the board? You can put number 48 on the board. I just read for the sake of it, just to remind all of us and those who were not here last week, I'll just read the previous verses, text 44 onwards. Tanhara Ananta Guna Kahi Din Matra Acharya Gosani Anre Punjaya Shradapatra. There was no end to the transcendental qualities of Haridas Thakur. Here I mention but a fraction of his qualities. He was so exalted that Advaita Goswami, when performing the Shraddha ceremony to his father, offered him the first plate. It's another very important part of Lord Chaitanya's mission. He declared this to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma was trying to atone for the offense which he committed in the Brahma Vimohan Leela. And the Lord declared to him that he said, I want you to take birth in a lowly family to help to fulfill his mission, to show that low birth or high birth makes no difference. Doesn't matter what one's birth is. The whole purpose of everything is to become Krishna conscious. Doesn't matter what one's birth is, everyone's eligible. He purposely, Haridas Thakur, appeared in the family of a Muslim family, saying higher or lower, but in this case, meat-eating family, and consequently, therefore, he was rejected more or less by the caste Brahmin system from being any kind of authority whatsoever. So this was part of Lord Chaitanya's mission to dismantle, or let's say to remove the false notions relating to caste being distinguished or being ascertained by birth. Is to be ascertained by quality, not by birth. One of Lord Chaitanya's and all of the members of our disciplic succession from him to try to establish this in the eyes of the general populace. That birth is not the most important thing. It may be helpful, but it's not conclusive. It's not the ultimate decider, but rather the quality of the individual, qualities they possess. Haridas was you could say the prime example of this aspect of Lord Chaitanya's mission. On top of that, he was the prime example of the Namacharya to spread the holy name. So quite a significant position he played in Lord Chaitanya's mission for the service of Lord Chaitanya. We'll go on, and even Advaita Charya, who was recognized by all the Brahmins. Shantipur was very much a Brahminical town, and amongst all the Brahmins in Shantipur, Advaita Charya was considered to be the leader, or the head, practically speaking. So when he recognized Haridas Thakur and offered him this special honor, Shraddha ceremony to his father, and he offered the first plate to Haridas Thakur. This was a bit of an outrage, in a sense, although nobody could really do much because he was a leader, but it wasn't looked at very highly by the caste Brahmins, to say the least. This low-class person was receiving such an honorific offering like this. And what to do? But this is the reality of Lord Chaitanya's move. Naham vipro nachanara patina bivaisho. There are not a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Gopi Bhatta, Padakam, Das, that I'm the eternal servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, lotus feet Lord of the maid servants of Lord Shri Krishna. This is our role. Servant of servant, servant, servant. We're not Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, we're servants. Servants of servants. We're not even devotees, we're servants of devotees. That's our objective goal, to serve the Vaishnavas. The ways of his good quality, text 45. The ways of his good qualities were like those of Prahlad Maharaj. We discussed that last week a little bit. He did not even slightly raise an eyebrow when persecuted by the Mohammedan ruler. He was actually thanking. And in fact, when he was finally, when the pastime was, we could say, concluded in terms of the practical side, when he returned to Puglia and began again doing the same thing as he was doing before he was arrested, apparently killed. He continued to chant. Some of the local Brahmins, who were by this time were convinced of his saintliness, and they were no longer envious, they approached him and asked him, why, we're bewildered, why, how could such a thing happen to such a saintly person as you? So he said, my dear sirs, the Lord was very gentle with me. He only mildly punished me for the sins or the offenses that I committed. Very mild punishment. Beaten and whipped and dragged through the streets and then tied with chains and thrown in the Ganga. Very mild. Nothing very severe. He said, because when I was in the court of the Nawab, I heard blasphemy of the Lord. I heard blasphemy. I deserve to suffer so much more for the offense which I committed by hearing blasphemy. We can just imagine where we stand. We hear it all the time, directly or indirectly, practically speaking. By the mercy of Haridas Thakur and the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we pray that we're not so advanced as Haridas Thakur, obviously, in any way whatsoever. But we pray to them that they will kindly protect us, and not just from hearing blasphemy, but it's almost unavoidable. Prabhupada one time he said that while we hear that the three, what one should do when one hears blasphemy, there are three courses to take. You're supposed to cut the tongue out of the blasphemer. I mean, that doesn't necessarily, at least not from a devotee or an aspiring devotee as such. Generally, that's not a very good tactic. You take a big knife with you and grab their tongue and slice it off. It will not go down very well with the preaching mission of Lord Chaitanya in any way. It's not the mentality of a Vaishnava. It means to defeat their arguments. If you're a ruthless Kshatriya, you may adopt such policy, but not if you're a practicing, whatever sadhaka like this. It means to try to defend. That is very hard to do, generally speaking. Even if you are correct in your, let's say, your response, they will not listen. They will not listen. They're so intoxicated with their madness, they will not listen. So then what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to give up our body on the spot. Well, that's also not very practical. Srila Prabhupada said if we took that course, there would be nobody left in this world. So therefore we adopt the third policy, we just try to get out of there. Try to avoid it in the first place and try to leave if you're exposed to it. Whatever way it takes. It's not always easy to do that either. I'm sure you've all had that experience, they don't let you go. They just follow you wherever you go and keep slamming anyone, screaming, or whatever they're doing. Sometimes it's like that one. Yes, what can you do? Tolerate, pray to the Lord. All of this is preparation for us to really become absolutely dependent upon Krishna. Like Haridas when he was being beaten. He was completely, whatever you want to do with me, my Lord. He wasn't worried. He himself, in the form of Lord Brahma, quoted the most famous verse. Well, Prabhupada said the most significant verse. He said it's the guideline for all devotees in this movement, spoken by Lord Brahma. Tatenu kampam susamikshimana bunjana eva. And this was the mood of Haridas. Of course, partially you could say he is Lord Brahma. So he had the same mood when he came to that conclusion. After pride being removed entirely from his heart. And as long as pride's there, we can't take shelter of Krishna. We're taking shelter of our pride, of our false ego. So when that's cleared away, then one can generally take shelter of Krishna. Otherwise, it's pride and envy. There's no way that one can really practice pure devotional service. One can become purified if we take the right course. But practicing pure devotional service is freed of envy. There's no envy whatsoever, no pride whatsoever. We're working towards that, we hope. Sankirtan isn't meant to be the ideal activity to help awaken it. You really have to be quite tolerant on Sankirtan, book distribution particularly, and very humble too. You can't expect to get too much respect when you're on Sankirtan. And most people don't give you too much respect. Occasionally you get it. One lady said to me yesterday, said, I really like you, Hare Krishna, she said, because when I look in your faces, when I look in your eyes, she said, I see nothing bad whatsoever. I see very pure. She said, use the word, she said she sees purity in the eyes of the Hare Krishna members. That's what she said. And she said, oh, you've got the Bhagavad Gita, can I buy that book? So you occasionally meet people like that, but it's very rare. She said, as far as I'm concerned, Jesus, Krishna are the same. Maybe a little bit mayapur, but nonetheless, something in the right direction is there. And there is a truth in that too. We know it's simultaneously one and different. So it's not untruth, but very, very, what can you say? Some people are like that. They actually have some appreciation, some respect is there. Like Diana Prabhu yesterday. Was it one of your first books, Diana? Is he here?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Was it a lady also?
Yeah. Woman. Old woman.
An old lady. This was an old lady too. She'd been to in Vrindavan, actually, this lady. Came to. And what did she say to you?
She liked Buddhist and she liked the monk.
She liked monks.
I mean, she liked to see spiritualists like us.
Spiritualist.
And
You gave her a gita. Gave her a gita?
I gave her a guitar, yeah.
And then what she did?
I gave 45 euro.
Then what did you do?
After I said, oh, this is what I can give you more. And I gave more and she gave me 50 euro more.
You should have given her more.
Yeah.
Bhagavatam.
Maybe.
Bhagavatam set. Should have given her the Bhagavatam set.
Yeah, I was thinking this would be the good person for the Bhagavatam.
Unfortunately, we can't always be armed with the Bhagavatam. What to do? You might have given you 500 euros, See, sometimes you meet, some souls are a little bit more uncovered, a little bit more involved. But whatever they are, the devotee practices tolerance, humility. And then the danger is when that happens, you start getting puffed up. Isn't it?
Yeah.
You start thinking, oh man, I must be really a good devotee. This is easy, This is sure. But Danatai doesn't get puffed up. So he
I was a
continues.
little bit drunk after that.
A little bit what?
I was a little bit like, oh my god, what I was like,
Yeah. But you did become puffed up. You were just like, taken aback a little bit.
I said to Revati, I will not say to you what happened just now. I will say to you at the end of the day. I can keep secret. But after I could not
He told me before you that means, because I heard before the end of the day.
I could not keep the secret.
Huh?
I could not keep the secret.
You couldn't keep the secret.
I was
It's too nice to keep. It's a very small thing when you look at the absolute sense of the word. It does have a big effect. We all know how we little kids on the Sankirtan party, we all get, it naturally boosts you when something like that happens, doesn't it? It's not that that's what we're out there for, but it does. We're kids, neophytes, so neophytes do get, we need a little bit of encouragement sometimes, and if things aren't going well, you kind of start getting mental and blaming the place, blaming the service, blaming the people, blaming God, blaming the guru who asked you to do it, all sorts of things come into the mind, finding excuses, whatever. But the results, nice. But it's really, Lord Chaitanya is really preparing us to develop this Trinada piece and Nichena piece of this mentality Have humility and tolerance and respect for others. It's pretty hard when people are shouting at you. It's a little easier if you don't speak French. I have no idea what they're saying. They're ranting and raving away. They're not saying merci beaucoup.
That's true.
They just don't know what to do, you know. Let's go. What's this guy, mad or something? And shouting at him, he's saying thank you very much. The ways of his good qualities were like those of Prahlad Maharaj. He wasn't weighed, he wasn't disturbed, he accepted whatever Krishna gave as mercy, and he tolerated. But he didn't just tolerate, he actually prayed for the welfare of those who were beating him. For those who, well, we see Christians do this too sometimes when they're put into circumstances. They pray for the person who's actually, you know, whatever, punishing them or whatever they're trying to do. It's nice. We should also, in one sense, we should have that attitude also. Not to feel angry against people who are angry towards us. We may not be on that level, not on the level of the devotees, I don't know, P.O. Piyakaro, the Goswamis, who are friends even to their enemies. They had nothing but good wishes toward them. After the passing away of Haridas Thakur, the Lord himself took his body on his lap and he danced with it in great ecstasy. The pastime of the Kiro Bhava of Haridas Thakur. Now the Lord Chaitanya said, the world is devoid of its most valuable jewel. Now that Haridas has left. Most valuable jewel on the earth. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur vividly described the pastimes of Haridas Thakur in his Chaitanya Bhagavat. Whatever has remained undescribed, I shall try to explain later in this book. So we'll find in Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Antya Leela, chapter 1, chapter 6, I think, extensive description of Haridas Thakur's life, and particularly his passing away, are extensively described by Krishnadas Kaviraj, because it's so important in the lives of all aspiring devotees to associate with Haridas Thakur. We read in many places, it goes in Chaitanya Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangala, Chaitanya Chandramrita, in different places we can read various statements about Haridas Thakur. Statements such as, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are always hankering to get the association of Haridas. That's a very mystifying statement, since Brahma is supposed to be Haridas. But there we see that they are hankering for his association. Mother Ganga is always hankering to be able to embrace Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur gave Krishna prema to Hirabai, not here, Hirabai, the prostitute, before Lord Chaitanya appeared in this world. It wasn't like he was just a practicing devotee. A practicing devotee cannot give prema to others. They can give some inspiration, some advice, some guidance, but they cannot give prema. Only a pure devotee who has prema can bestow that on a surrendered soul. So he's not an ordinary person, reverential, Aishvarya Bhav, devotee, as sometimes is portrayed, but he's not. He's an eternal associate of the Lord, who appeared along with the Lord to assist the Lord in establishing the highest, topmost process of devotion, practically. The Sankirtan, chanting of the holy names of the Lord, the eternal heartbeat of the spiritual world. So Haridas is the prime, you could say, the prime instrument in that regard. Hare Krishna. So we go on to the next verse, which is text 48. Is it on the board? Please repeat. Tanra Upashaka Yata Kulina Grami Jana Satyarajadi Adi
Satyaraja Adi
Tanra
Tara
Kripara
Kripara
Bhajan
Bhajan
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramityana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana.
Anyone else?
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Tanrupashakayat Kulina Gramijana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Satyaraj Hadi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana.
Ladies.
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Tanra Upashakayata Kulina Gramijana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana
Satyaraja Adi Tanra Kripara Bhajana.
Tanra Upashakha
Tanra Upashakha
is sub-branch.
Sub-branch.
Yata or Kulina Gramijana, the inhabitants of Kulina Gram, Satyaraj, of the name Satyaraj, Adi, heading the list. Tanra is Kripara, of mercy, Bhajana, recipient. Obviously different than bhajan. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. One sub-branch of Haridas Thakur consisted of the residents of Kulina Gram. The most important among them was Satyaraja Khan, or Satyaraja Vasu, who was a recipient of all of the mercy of Haridas Thakur. Report. These are unique tissues, by the way. Now they're French. Let me have a look. Lotus menthol. No, they're eucalyptal. I think it's French now. Menthol eucalyptal. You blow your nose in these, and it's like no other tissue I'd ever blow my nose in. It's very strong eucalyptus flavor. And even if you touch your finger to your eye, it starts feeling like wool. It's like eucalyptus on your fingers when you touch these tissues. And it's a very purifying effect. The eyes start to go kind of as if they're becoming cleansed. It's quite amazing. I like to touch my eyes every time I blow my nose. It has a very nice effect. It's a very pleasing effect. Your eyesight becomes better on touching it. But it appears to be a very special tissue paper. That's why I keep using the same one again and again. Purport. Satyaraj Khan was the son of Gunaraj Khan and father of Ramananda Vasu. Haridas Thakur lived for some time during the Chaturmasya period in the village named Kulinagram, where he chanted the holy name, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and distributed his mercy to the descendants of the Vasu family. Satyaraj Khan was allotted the service of supplying silk ropes for the Jagannath deity during the Rath Yatra festival. Well, that's interesting, because I've got, when we went, I don't know if any of you were with me that day, but I was with Jivananda, maybe Mananda was with us that day, I can't remember. This year in Jagannath Puri, we went to one house, it was the house of Sri Damodar, Lord Chaitanya's chief associate there in Puri. We went there and whatever reasons, financial transactions took place, and the Pujari gave us some of that silk rope which is used to tie the Lord, or to, which according to this here is generally produced by the residents of Kulinagram. So very nice. Look at that silk rope. I didn't bring it with me this time, sometimes I do. The answers, because they tie the Lord up, you see, with this silk rope around his waist, and then they kind of carry him from the temple to the Rath, partially on pillows, like almost like bouncing, rocking on these pillows as they go towards the car, and they have these ropes around his waist. The answer to his inquiries from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, okay, about the duty of a householder. This is the residents of Kulinagram would regularly ask Lord Chaitanya, what are the duties of a householder, grihastha, devotee? What are their duties? Are vividly described in the Madhya Lila, chapter 15 and 16. So if you want to find out what they are, you have to read those chapters 15 and 16 and find out. What are the duties of a householder? What are their duties? To have children, to have a nice house, to make a lot of money, to try to enjoy your senses, to eat opulently. What else is it? What other duties are there for grihastha?
Give donations.
Pardon?
Give donations.
To receive donations?
No, they give donations.
To give, okay, you turn the clock, you turn the dial around there a little bit. And I thought that in Kali Yuga things had changed. Yes, they're meant to give donations. Who to?
The Brahmin.
The Brahmins and Vaishnavas. They're meant to give welfare. That's where they become, and they're meant to invite Vaishnavas to their home too. Not just so they get blessings, but to actually purify them of their condition of being attached to sense gratification. They may or may not be, but in general they are. What other duties are there of a grihastha? Not many grihasthas, fewer pranis. Some of you have been, will become grihasthas.
Worship deities.
Yeah, they should have deities in their homes. Lord Chaitanya. Along the Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada said that you should have an altar and worship in your home, deities if possible. And they should together read, chant, hear, and like that. They should always welcome guests into their home. It's a very important part of grihastha life. And treat them just like God, practically. No matter who they are. No one should be an enemy. They should always at least receive them with some kind words, a seat, some water, some refreshment of some kind should be there. So the enemy doesn't feel like they're an enemy anymore. Things like this. And they should definitely, as much as possible, hear from the saintly persons. This is a primary duty of the grihastha. And themselves cultivate Krishna consciousness and raise a family in Krishna consciousness. Protect, if the husband protect the family, meaning physically he has to maintain them, and spiritually he has to guide them. So many different things are there, different details are also there, but some of the general principles really have been mentioned. The village of Kulinagram is situated 2 miles from the railway station named Julgram on the New Court line from Hara to Burdhan. So these details were mentioned by Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj. And Prabhupada is basically repeating details mentioned by Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj. Some of these details have changed. Railway stations no longer exist. Lines no longer exist. Or they've changed. But sometimes it's a little difficult to geographically find some of these places because things have changed. They don't exist anymore. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very highly praised the people of Kulinagram, and he stated that even a dog of Kulinagram was very dear to him. Even the dogs. They were all devotees, Haridas Thakur, because they were all devotional. But in the association of pure devotees, this is Haridas Thakur, that pure devotional service can awaken. So the key here is association, the whole disciplinate succession, the whole movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is based on a practice, no doubt, but it's primarily developed by association. Everything rests on association. Our conditioning in this world has evolved due to our bad association. We develop bad concepts. We are affected by various karmas and various modes of nature because of our association. It's not the soul exactly. The soul has become covered in various ways due to various associations and behaves in such and such a way as a good person or a bad person or whatever. We describe things as, even the form of the body is a result of association. Someone was saying yesterday, I can't remember the topic came up. Oh yeah, I was with Diana Tai, I think, on Sankirtan, and looking at the pictures in the, I was trying to sell him a book, and he was trying to sell me, I was taking the role of an ordinary person. What is this then? There's a picture of this Virolaha, looks like a pig, fighting with Hiranyaksha. What is this? And then the next page, and he said, oh, this is God. I said, God? This is God? Are you crazy? Imagine what people think, there's a picture of a boar. And the next page is a picture of Lord Nrsimhadev ripping to shreds Hiranyakasipu. This is God here too. Our God is a loving God. I mean, I wonder what people think. I don't know if they know what to think. It's kind of beyond. It's quite transcendental, and you see people with 4 arms and flying in the sky on eagles and all sorts of things. If you're in the hippie time, they all thought we were on some really high LSD. And sometimes people would say, where'd you get your LSD from? Your LSD, you guys, they can't, it's an inconceivable, universal form. These things are like way beyond an ordinary mindset, I mean, they do make fictional movies about things like this. That's the interesting fact. And they kind of enjoy it. But when it comes down to acceptance of reality, this is not real. It's crazy. They can't relate. I mean, of course, somebody who's a little faithful, a little bit of purity can, maybe. But in general, they can't relate to that. Then the topic came up that somebody said that, people take on the characteristics of their association. Maybe someone else was there. And they mentioned, I think it was it Udaya? Hall? No. Well, I mentioned something about a certain type of people who actually have certain features like pigs. Because they like pigs. They really do like pigs. They like to eat them. They love eating pigs. And they do have certain features similar to pigs. Round faces, little squinty eyes, tiny little noses, little mouths. And you can almost see a pig almost manifesting. Sometimes, not always. And then oftentimes people who are addicted to horses, they start developing features which resemble horses. It's funny. It takes on. Dogs also the same thing. They start looking like their dog. It's a unique feature of association that we take on the characteristics of that association. Subtly at first and grossly second. If we're very attached to a dog, then we become a dog. Simple as that. Maybe not in this lifetime with a physical body, but maybe slowly, looking more and more. But in behavior, certainly yes. And attachment. All of this, everything depends on association. So if you associate with serious devotees, by hearing from them, it's not a question of just downloading our garbage on them. It's a question of hearing transcendental subject matters to change our mindset, to change our consciousness, purify our consciousness, become free of it. We sometimes think that Krishna consciousness is meant as a solution to all our physical and mental ailments. That's a secondary thing. It has to be taken into account in any society, but it's not the objective goal. It's a secondary thing, which may have to be primary in the initial stages, but ultimately that's not the real purpose. That doesn't solve the real problem. Even if you are healthy, rich, well situated materially, that doesn't mean that you're going to become Krishna conscious. It may be useful, but it's not the goal. So unless one's willing, unless one's willing to hear from those devotees, pure devotees, then one remains a cow or an animal. One maintains one's mundane mentality. Even if you get the blessings, okay, there's some distant change will take place, but it'll take a long time. The whole process is submissive hearing. It's based on submissive hearing. It's not based on, material adjustments and fulfilling your material achievements and so on, rather material desires. And it's not based upon that, having a comfortable life. It's not based on that. It's based on becoming free of all that. Sometimes devotees, in our neophyte stage, get caught up with these things. It's a common saying, what have I got out of ISKCON? I've worked so hard for 30 years, and what have I got out of it? I haven't got a bank account. Here I am, stuck. I've got nothing. No house, no wife, no husband, no money, no job, no qualifications, no nothing. My life is wasted. Sometimes we hear these things. And even in ISKCON, I gave everything and I've got nothing. They don't even let me eat pakoras anymore unless I pay them. Get on my case. I did 30 years of service, and then they're saying, well, what are you coming every day? You're not doing any service anymore. Go away. But hopefully it's not that bad. But sometimes these experiences have been. What have I got out of it? Okay, well, we're neophytes, so we may think like that. But that's a misunderstanding, a complete misunderstanding of what the purpose of the movement is. Not to say that effort shouldn't be made to help in that regard. Hopefully as the movement grows, there will be more social kind of systems in place to help that these side of situations for neophytes don't become a prominent negativity. But it's not the real purpose of that movement. And one as a Brahmin should never think like that. That's very, very unbrahminical thinking. Extremely unbrahminical. It's total Shudra thinking. A Brahmin doesn't think like that. Neither is a real Vaishnava. He never thinks like that. He accepts whatever happens with the mercy of Krishna. He doesn't expect anything in return. That's the mood of it. We're not on that level, but that's the mood of a real Vaishnava. They simply want whatever Krishna's mercy bestows upon us, and they see it like that. If I'm rejected, kicked out, punished, whatever it is, they see it as Krishna's mercy. They don't see it as, some kind of mundane thing. They see Krishna's hand working behind it. That's the whole purpose of our movement, to see Krishna in everything. His hand working, and not to hold grudges, not to blame anyone on the planet or off the planet. Not to blame anyone. We see it as something which I need to experience, which I need to go through. Krishna knows exactly what is best for me. Maybe a little high perception, but that's what we're supposed to be showing. If we don't show that, the movement will not grow. It will remain a mixed hodgepodge, as Prabhupada said. We always have to realize we're here to advance in Krishna consciousness, not just to facilitate our conditioning. It takes a little time to get through to our, whatever, our consciousness, and to abide by it and live by it, that's for sure. So society has to be arranged to facilitate that and so on. And it's difficult when it's not very advanced in Krishna conscious like ourselves. But this is the principle. And it's once freed, that's being freed from the effects of the modes of nature. You're not affected by the modes of nature. They may be there, they may appear to be acting, but this is the Brahman. No longer Brahmabhuta Prasanatma, Shochatina Kankshati. That's what we're supposed, that's where real devotional service begins. Up to that point where you could say we're doing what we're doing and praying and hoping that this will have some mercy, descent of mercy upon us. But it's not in the right consciousness. It's not in loving devotional service, pretty poor. It's mixed. A mixed devotional service will not achieve a pure result. If we follow a pure devotee, ultimately it will. But if we still keep implementing our own perceptions of devotional service, of duplicitousness, of duality, of rights and wrongs, thinking we're always right and everyone else is wrong, then there's no question of achieving pure devotional service. Trying to justify our situation, campaigning, this thing, that thing, social media, all of this is a trap of Maya. Trap of Maya. We fall into the trap very easily because everyone around us is in it. Practically the world is just shrouded in this illusion of putting themselves in the center, thinking, I am the victim. This is the number one reason why we're in this world and stay in this world, practically. Seeing ourselves in the center. The whole purpose of this Krishna conscious movement is to put Krishna wholly and solely in the center. And it's not that we use Krishna to try to justify ourselves either. Taking verse to justify our unfortunate situation, etc., and use it against others. This is not really the best way to use Shastra. It should be to change our hearts. The real problem is in our own heart, not everyone else. We have to apply the medicine to ourselves. Physician, heal thyself, as they say. We have to see introspection. We have to see what is it in our own hearts that Krishna's trying to teach me here. This is a very personal thing. This is one of the, we could say, preliminaries of relationship when we start to accept this and pray to Krishna to please give me the guidance, the intelligence to understand what are you teaching me here? What am I to learn from this other person or this situation? And Haridas Thakur is the prime example of this. Prime example. And everyone associated with him devoutness moves. Presence cooling the ground, etc. Of course, if they're demons, they didn't. But every genuine, sincere, innocent person did. There's a lot of lessons to learn here. But it's, Sankirtan is a great field for developing genuine qualities. If we adopt it for what it is, not just as a means of numbers, achievements, and those things are there, but behind it all is really the spirit. So back to reality. Today, we want everyone to do better than they did yesterday and do more books and collect more money, okay? And those who didn't go out yesterday, you should go out today and do a lot of books, okay? Got it? Don't come back until you've done your quota. And don't get upset if there's no prasadam. Just carry on working hard and accept Krishna's mercy. Be humble, be tolerant, and and just accept whatever mercy comes its way, even if it is cold and you're hungry. Just be very tolerant, okay? Got it? And make sure you don't come back, even if it's at midnight. Don't come back until you finish your quotas.
And you stay in the temple and get prasada.
I'll stay here and I'll eat all the prasada. That's the best idea. So you don't even have to worry about it. There won't be anything left then. Yes. Are we ready to go? Yasomati is fired up. He's got his book bag ready already. He's already ready for hit in the street. Anyway, aside from all of that kind of, what we could say, strange joking. I hope you take it as a joke. It's not really a joke. It's British cynicism, English cynicism. Okay, so Hare Krishna. All glories to your service. Well, wonderful. And we do hope, just a little bit of pre-thought, is that next week, we as I mentioned briefly yesterday, we did make a, we wrote it, I don't know if I mentioned it, but we made a pledge to the World and Live to Give campaign of 10,001 Bhagavad Gitas during this campaign. And we're about 3,500 short right now, more or less. It's not, and we've already done 3,500. No, we're more than that. We're 5,500 short. Yeah, about 5 to 5,500 short. So if we carry on doing a little bit more than what we're doing, we would actually hit the target. So I think, at least I'm willing to try at Krishna House. It depends on everybody else, of course. We're alone. But to try to do another, next week on Wednesday is Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj's Tirobhan. And in one sense, it's the best day of the year for distributing books. And I don't say it's the best day because of some external reason, but internally it is. I mean, his whole thing, Prabhupada said he learned everything from his father except for book distribution, publication and distribution. That he got from Bhakti. That was the primary thing he got from Bhakti Siddhanta. His whole movement has developed because of that instruction to print and distribute books widely everywhere. So it's a good day. I don't know if everyone else has got different ideas. I'm just one person. But that's my passion, my impetus, my initiative is next Wednesday. Believe it or not, Wednesday was the best day last week, and Wednesday was the best day this week also. So it seems like there's something special about Wednesday.
The children's
Huh?
It's the children's day.
Is it the Children's Day?
They don't go to school.
It's the Children's Day.
Most of them.
They don't go to school on Wednesday?
Yeah.
They
The
don't?
really little.
Huh?
Yeah, the small children, they don't go to school.
Yeah, it used to be a half holiday in England when I was a kid too. All the shops were closed on Wednesday afternoon in England. It was like a half day for everyone Wednesday. So whatever it is what it is. But it's a wonderful offering to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj to see if we can we can't. We're not going. And we need sponsors if we're going to do a big school. We have some leftovers. We have some leftovers from the Gita. Some more came in after the finish of the Gita Jayanti, by the way. We do have a couple of sponsors still. Master Prime brought one in and another one came in yesterday. So, but nothing like what we had for Gita Jayanti, at least not at the moment. But if you have anyone who'd like to sponsor, I don't know what words you're going to use to convince them, but somehow or another sponsor the books, then we maybe we can have another burst on next Wednesday. I think one more burst will give us the, that little encouragement that we can actually reach that target. We're not expecting 1,000, but even if we can do like 500, 700 or something or other between us, that would be wonderful. Never mind, maybe we can do more. Who knows? At least try to do more. And today is Saturday. Usually on Saturday there's a chance to do more also, more devoted. So we've been under averaging 220 the last 2 days. We've got to hit 270 a day, so we're 100 short now. And today let's go for over 300 if we can. Let's try to do more than 300 Gitas today, maybe 400. Let's try our best. We did I think we did 300 last week. Let's see what we can do this week. See what Krishna arranges. We just try our best. Depend on Krishna. The more the merrier. The more souls get Prabhupada's books, the more mercy, the more good fortune will be there in the world today. Okay, I'm going to finish there. Thank you all very much. Thank the cooks. Thank Ramlita and her team. The wonderful prasadam, isn't it? I'm not getting any because I don't eat bread. But I did take one the first day. I don't know what she's still doing or not. I looked in the fridge this morning. I said I saw there's something saved for today, so I guess that's something related to it. So. Hare Krishna, everybody. Have a great day. See you on the block. I'm planning to get out of here within 1 hour. That's my plan.
Janananda Goswami Maharaj ki
Bhakti Jai. It won't work, I'm planning. At least an hour and a half. If you say an hour and a half, it'd be 2 hours. If you say an hour, it'd be